Yay! Today we get to talk about VA loans. I love VA loans. I love them because they help our veterans, and I love veterans. I don't know if you knew this, but I'm a Navy brat. My dad retired as a captain in the Navy after 30 years, and I've seen how VA loans benefited him multiple times. And I've seen, honestly, for our clients, about 1/4% of the buyers in our area use VA loans. So if you are potentially selling in the future or buying, your chances are very high. You're going to want to know something about the VA loans. So VA loans are a benefit to veterans. Only veterans can use this. So if you're wondering if you're eligible, a lender can actually help you out. So ping me and I'll be able to get that answer for you. But here are a few great things about VA loan, like why they're a benefit that is given. One, with a VA loan, you get competitive interest rates. You get excellent interest rates, which is huge. Two, you get no down payment, which is awesome. So no down payment unless you might be going over the high eligibility limits in the area. But usually most people have no down payment. Number three is no PMI, which is awesome. That's private mortgage insurance. Typically people that are putting anything less than 20% down payment might have some kind of PMI. This is zero down payment and no PMI. Saves you a couple $100, which is awesome. Number four, personal credit requirements can actually be a little bit less, which is awesome because it allows more veterans to be able to get into the home ownership game. So those are four very quick and specific advantages to the VA loan. Now let's talk very specifically about what I find is very helpful for both sellers and buyers to know about because they get tripped up on this often, and it has to do with VA loan required extra inspections. I know there's a lot of quotations, but extra inspections the VA actually requires. So let's talk about this for a minute. Sometimes VA buyers think that they can forego a home inspection because VA is going to do their own. And on the flip side, sometimes sellers think working with a VA buyer is the same exact thing as working with a conventional financing buyer. So both of those are not great advice. So let's just get clear a little bit on what is going on with a VA inspection. One, it is not a whole home inspection. Just know that. It is not a whole home inspection. VA does have specific requirements called property requirements, minimum property requirements, but the inspector is the appraiser. Okay, so a VA appraiser is really coming out just to appraise the home value, though they have some additional requirements that they have to check off some boxes on the VA required appraisal, which conventional appraisals don't require. So these are called the minimum property requirements. Now guys, this is not an exhaustive list I'm about to kind of share with you, but they are a few of the highlights. So what are some of these minimum required requirements? Minimum property requirements. One is it has to be your primary residence. So you can't use the VA loan for investment properties up front initially. Now you can do some cool VA home hacks where you buy multi-unit properties, but you have to actually live in it. You have to initially, right? You can always turn it into an investment property down the line, but initially it's only for primary residence. Number two, they do look for electrical and plumbing to be in, here's the key word, good working order. All right, so that's all they're looking at. This is not an exhaustive list, but they're gonna walk in, the lights have to be on and the water has to run, okay? They're not checking out every single one of the outlets, every single one of the spigots, but they are gonna look for obvious things, like if there's loose wiring well, actually, let's talk about loose wiring. That's one thing that I see often in attics and crawl spaces because how many owners go in the attic crawl space very often? But there's loose wire, so they're going to make that a requirement that is repaired before they give the loan. They're going to make sure that all outlet covers are on. So again, nothing too exhaustive, but they are going to look for the obvious electrical and plumbing areas. Number three, safe and adequate heating. Now, this is not as unique to our area, but I think it's important just to know, is that wood burning stoves can be your primary heating source, that's okay. But if they are, you still have to have a conventional heating system in the house that it keeps it to a minimum of 50 degrees. So the reason I share that with you, because if you're using your VA loan and you want to get a house that has some work to do, you just kind of want sweat equity with it, a little bit of a fixer-upper, it has to have an actual conventional heating system that is working. So just be aware of that. Number 4 is the water and sewage systems have to meet health department standards. Now, they're not coming in doing a full inspection, okay, but they do have to look at a few things. So VA loan does require that the water quality test passes, and that's great. So if you have a well, particularly a well, if you have a well, you're gonna have to make sure that the water quality test does pass, which is good. Septic, they're not doing a full septic inspection, like I said, but they are gonna go flush the toilet. And really what they're looking for is to make sure nothing is coming back up the other way, obviously, right? So as long as it's all going out the right way, they're happy. But if there are septic issues that arise and the VA finds about it, they will typically actually ask for it to be corrected. Number 5 is the roof. So the roof cannot have visual signs of disrepair. Now, this is important. It has to look like there is life left on the roof. Now, again, appraisers are not trained roofers, all right, but they're looking for the obvious. So if you're selling a home and you have obvious missing shingles, get those replaced, all right? That's an important thing. But if you're a buyer, you can know if there's obvious disrepair, that will be a lender-required repair before you go to closing. Number 6 is that appraiser or VA states that pooling water in crawl spaces has to be corrected. Now here's the thing, honestly, I rarely ever find that appraisers crawl into the crawl space. Now VA does require that there's access to the crawl space door and that there can't be debris in front or in the inside. So they have to have access into it. Typically they get a flashlight, they look. As long as they don't see any obvious standing water, then there's no issue. Number 7 is the property has to be free of hazards that would potentially harm the safety or health of the veteran or veteran's family. This could be a lot of things, but here's some of the most common. Deck railings. Okay, deck railings have to be up. Just had a buyer, they had the top railings, but didn't have the pickets. So the appraiser required that the pickets are put up. Totally good. Safety is an important thing. Railings on stairs. So if there's a certain amount of stairs and it doesn't have a railing, VA is going to require that one railing is put up. They're going to look at the foundation. If there's anything obvious that's questionable about the foundation, they're going to ask if that is checked out. Wood rot, all right? They don't like seeing wood rot. This could be on trim, this could be on siding. They're going to require that to be replaced. Peeling paint is another one of those things. That is going to be an issue if a VA appraiser finds that out. So these are some of the big major items. It's not exhaustive in any way, but here's my advice, right? Sellers, again, we talked about this a couple videos ago, but do a pre-home inspection, all right? Preventively addressing any of these small repairs that might be needed now is really important, because if you do get a VA buyer and the appraiser requires this, it could extend closing, delay closing, because you have to do it and you have to get the appraiser to come back out. So my encouragement is get the pre-home inspection. Good news if you are a seller is that if you go back to the 4 biggest mistakes video for sellers that I made, is we're giving away in December a free pre-home inspection. So go to the link in that description and you can sign up and be able to get one of those. Now if you are a veteran and you are a veteran buyer, I want to first and foremost just thank you, truly thank you for how you serve our country. Thank you for serving our country. Thank you for even indirectly serving my family in what you are doing. Truly grateful for everything you are doing. If you are a spouse of a veteran who might even be away this Christmas, in a family who the veteran might be deployed, thank you for the sacrifice that you do. Thank you for how you serve us as well. Your sacrifice is not unseen, and I can tell you that truly we are very grateful.